What's up, everybody? This is Lisa McClendon, and you are locked into Studio Q with my girl Quencie, the celebrity interviewer.
It's your girl Quencie. We are here with salt and pepper. How has Gail made you?
Don't get me crying.
And we are here live at the SAG Awards. Leave a message. What's the biggest lesson motherhood has taught you?
To be honest.
Studio
I'm the
Q.
Q in the studio.
All right, cutie.
It's a different world.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for letting me know you.
It's a interview and shit over here.
This is probably the best interview I've ever done.
And you're such a great interviewer, my goodness.
This is honestly the best interview I've had in months.
I'm hanging out with my booskies.
Studio Q, baby.
Studio Q show. Now you know.
Hey everybody, my name is Quencie. I'm the host and founder of Studio Q. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody on Patreon. Shout out to my Studio Q page. Shout out to everybody on Soul TV. On today's show, we are blessed and highly favored to be able to have a conversation with jazz, gospel, neo soul, rock. Like, you could put all of this in the description title for Lisa McClendon. I did a little intro for her, so I am going to play the intro and then we're going to bring her in and get started. Here we go. On today's episode of Studio Q, I would like to welcome Lisa McClendon, who is a gospel, jazz, soul, and international recording star. She's an author, a fashion designer, jewelry maker, spoken word artist, philanthropist, mother, wife, African dancer, herbalist, naturalist, gardener, preacher's kid, and child of God. Lisa McClendon's music is a soulful blend of gospel, jazz, and funk, celebrated as a harmonious remedy and rhythmic soul therapy. In her own words, quote, "My music is a compass for those on their journey, guiding them in nurturing their self-love, spirituality, and connection to the world," unquote. Since her debut album, My Diary, Your Life, in 2002, Lisa has left an indelible mark on the music scene. Her distinctive fusion has drawn comparisons to icons like Lauryn Hill, Jill Scott, and India Arie, establishing her as a pioneering force in reshaping the gospel music landscape. With the mission to bring awareness and direction, Lisa's music serves as a guiding light for individuals navigating their love for themselves, God, and the world around them. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Lisa McClendon on Studio Q. If you're watching this live or on the replay, please drop some red hearts in the chat to welcome Lisa to Studio Q. Lisa is in the building. What's going on? Listen, I'm gonna be quiet.
I am very happy to be here. Finally. Girl, we'll talk later. Hey, you?
Listen, life be lifing. Life be lifing. It's all
brain be not braining. Listen, my daughter was like, "Mama, I have an alarm. Everything was set in advance. It's just brain is unbraining."
But listen, guess what? You're here.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Yay!
Look, I know you grew up in the church. Woo!
You went, let's go way back.
At the end of the interview, I got 3 things to ask you that I want from you. So because you was a little, braining, then I feel like I got more of a chance to get a yes.
You sure can. You can do this. We can do this.
It's all good. It's all good.
Look, cute. I was all pat myself on the back. You on time today. And you know what's funny? Let me just say this. We got this whole conspiracy going about Lauryn Hill being late anyway. And then the intro says she's been compared to Lauryn Hill. Oh! I'm like, not in that manner. for Miss Hill and a buggy. God, can't invite black folk nowhere. All right, I'm all right now.
Vocally though,
Yeah.
you get to her vocally. We're not talking about anything else. But listen, you're here. You're beautiful, and I am so honored to talk to you. Like I promise you, I did not know who Lisa McClendon was a month ago.
Oh, really?
Never. I have
a new fan. Yay!
Yes, I am a new fan. And what I love most about interviewing and having conversations with people is it's like a fan of a book or a fan of a movie. Like you get to watch this wonderful piece of art. Like, and the art for me is your life. Like learning about you, diving deep into who you are, what makes you tick, your music, your background, being a mother, being a gardener, all of those things. And then the person who I get to talk to about this, because the first thing you want to do when you read a book is talk to somebody about the book that you just read. Right. So the joy for me is to be able to actually talk to the person that I have researched. So I am so honored to have discovered you. Shout out to Jonathan for bringing you to me. And you're amazing. And I want to start off by asking you, you said that you can, like, singing is something that you've done your whole life. You sing, that's good. But you're about changing lives. Man. You know what I mean? So can you just talk from that standpoint? Because, you've been in church your whole life, but you've been singing your whole life. But you're like, it's not just about singing for me. So can you talk to that point and share what it is about for you?
It's about wanting people to be free. When you come from a place like I have, which is a lot of our story, where you were bound for so long, and you didn't even know you were bound, and then you discover what freedom feels like. You just want to give it to everybody. You're like, do you know you don't have to live like that? Like, do you know you don't have to think like that? Do you know you don't have to be treated like that? You don't have to treat yourself like that. That's where I am now. Like, at where I am now and the things that I've been through, I'm like, there is no way I can't sing about it because I discovered the remedy, if you will. And I think that's what I do. My songs are a bunch of remedies. If you think about math, my dad, God bless him, he just passed away this past Thursday. He was a math genius. And he would always tell us when we were kids, he was like, the trick to math is, if you know the formula, you can figure out the problem. And I think that's what I try to do. I try to sing the formula. So everything that I sing, everything that I write, it's something I've gone through, and in that moment or season of my life, I've discovered the formula, and then I just share it. And I just feel like if I personally don't do anything else, if it's just about entertaining for me, then it's almost like it's the difference in being in shallow water and deep waters. I mean, so and I just don't want to be shallow. I feel like I'm worthy enough to not be shallow. I feel like the people that support my music and listen to my music are worthy enough for me not to bring just something shallow. I want you to walk away thinking. I want you to walk away with a problem solved or feeling like you can do it. I feel like that's what music's supposed to do.
I love that. So a few people have chimed in and said, my condolences to you and your family. Sorry for your loss. Can you just give us a little window into what your dad was like, what he meant to you, and what kind of man he was?
Don't do that. Don't be doing that. My dad was jovial, and he was a freaking genius. I'm going to give you two quick stories. One story when he was younger, his sisters would always try to stump him because they always say he was a smart kid in the family. And they were like, you ain't that smart, Japheth. His name is Japheth. You ain't not that smart. And so they plotted.
I know this story.
Y'all listening to me? They plotted on my daddy now. And they said, we're gonna show him that he ain't as smart as he think he is. So they waited And it's like, this gonna bless y'all now. Cause some folk, they wait till they think you're down to try to get you. So they waited till my dad was asleep. And they crept into the room and they shook him a little, nudged him and said, Japhus. He said, what's 12 times 12? And he got up, he looked around, 144. And they jumped up and stormed out the room. Listen. When you know what you know. It don't matter if I'm a dime, I'm still give you the right answer. And the last story my mom was telling me, they were in college together. And the professor was right on the board. And my dad was sitting there. And he said, Professor, whatever his name was, that's wrong. The professor stepped back, looked at the board, looked at my dad and said, Peoples, you're right. My dad was he was a jovial genius.
Wow. I love that. Thank you for sharing something about him. I know that you said that your parents, both of them, like they really honed in on the fact of, supporting you in terms of your music. Tell me how they showed you how to roll out the red carpet for Jesus, and how have you in turn done that for your children?
You know what? My answer may stun you. My parents rolled out Christianity in the way that they knew how. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, in the South, sometimes that looks like slavery. Mm. Sometimes that looks like bondage. Mm. Sometimes it looks like ignorance. Following me? Mm-hmm. But they gave me what they knew. What I love about them is that they were genuine, and they gave based on what their convictions were. Especially both of them for sure, but especially my mother. My mother was different. My father was Pentecostal. My mom was raised Baptist. Not that neither one is better than the other, but my mother and father had some different interpretations of scriptures and foundation. And my mom was just as much of a scholar with the Bible as my dad was. And funny story, I'm full of stories. You're welcome. And
thank you.
Lived across from a juke joint when I was growing up. Y'all, I can't make this stuff up. Okay. Wow. So there was a juke joint that sat here, and then there was a little church that sat a little Pentecostal holiness church right next to the juke joint. Mm-hmm. So Saturday night, we hear all kind of stuff on Saturday night. I mean, you name it, we was rocking. My bedroom was rocking. And then Sunday morning into Monday morning, they churched all night. It was church. So I got the best of both worlds, right?
Wow.
So the juke joint, they would always be partying. They would leave bottles and stuff and the bottles and beer cans would make it to our yard somehow because we were in close proximity. And my dad would forbid us from touching it, to throw it in the trash, because he said the Bible says, taste not, touch not, and handle not. So those bottles would be in the yard for days because my dad felt like it was a sin for us to touch the bottles, to throw them in the trash can.
Wow.
My mother did not believe that, but my mother wanted to respect him. Mm-hmm. Finally, she said, this is ridiculous. Go out there and get them cans. And she made us go out there. So my dad came back. He was like, what happened to the big bottles? And she said, they got it up. And she said, Japhus, that is not what that scripture means. She had to break down the scripture. And my dad was like, oh.
Yeah.
That was my parents. So again, no. And it was always a struggle. My mother wouldn't make it a fight, but she did not agree with a lot of stuff. We couldn't wear pants. We couldn't wear makeup. We couldn't go to the movies. That was the kind of church I was raised in. But my mother was such a blessing to our family because the more she, in a strategic and wise way, stayed in my dad's ear, she challenged him to look at the Bible again. And even as children, she would tell us when we go to church, like we would be kids, like y'all, like 6, 7, 8. Mom said, okay, now we're going to church. They're gonna preach. Listen, if it ain't in the Bible, don't believe it. She would like, and then she would say, "No, we're kids." And she was like, "I want you to remember, you're gonna always go back and research the word for yourself. Go read the Bible for yourself because people know how to twist." Now we don't know, but she was planting the seed.
She was
all of our lives growing up. My mother would always be in fights. She would always be in odds with the church because they didn't like that she thought for herself, and she taught us to think for ourselves. And early Christianity in the church that I was raised in, we were taught it was a sin to think for ourselves. It was a way for certain people to manipulate us. But now, because of my mother's strength, I'm a person in the church, but I think for myself, and I don't believe everything everybody tells me, because everybody got their own interpretation of stuff. And so that's why I said my answer may shock you, because I feel like my mom just was a great balance when it came to that. Great balance.
Your mom said that you were always different and that you couldn't keep you in a box. What was it about you that she identified, and how has that evolved and led you on your path?
Child, listen, that is so true. I've always been an adventurer, and I've always wanted to know why. And I've always wanted to explore. So that manifested in my clothing. My mother said, I never know what you're going to look like when you come out of the room. I never know. She would buy stuff and it's never going to look the same. Because as soon as she buy a dress or a shirt, I'm cutting it up. I'm changing the buttons. I'm adding a zipper. I'm adding paint. And she had got to the point she would say, don't, I just bought this. Change one button, one zipper, and then finally she just left me alone. She left me alone, and she let me, and she said, just be you. And I remember these words. She said, as long as you're not killing nobody or killing yourself, do you. And it landed me in fashion school because she allowed me to have free expression, freedom of expression. It just, I feel like that poured into my artistry as a singer. In everything that I do, even my daughter. And it's funny because my son said one day, he said, we never know how Diamond gonna look when she come out of the room. And it just reminded me, my mom used to say that about me. So I just think it's important for parents to allow children to be creative, to express themselves. If they're not killing anybody, let them, because in art, there are no rules. There should be no rules. The world is full of rules and boundaries. Let that not be so in art. Let it not be the case in artistry. We shouldn't have obstacles and limitations in art, because when we do that, then we become cookie cutters and it's no longer art.
Yeah. I want you to talk about the fashion part as well, and how did it segue into your artistry? Because I know you said back in the day, in the MySpace days, that seems like eons ago. And you ran across PJ Morton and you were like, wow, somebody who reflects and resonates with me. What about, like, go from fashion to music, but what was it about PJ Morton that resonated and you were able to see a spot for Lisa and how she could, show up musically?
So another spectacular thing about my mother is she allowed me to explore in music, because the way we were raised, it was church music or nothing else. And I just had a liking to jazz. I love jazz. I love old classic movies and American music. I just loved it. And so with that, my appetite was, had expanded. It was evolved. It wasn't just church music. It was all kind of music. So when I was signed to the first label that I was signed to, I was always inspired by gospel, but I was also inspired by jazz. And I wasn't hearing what I heard in my head. When I sing, to me, it didn't sound like anything I heard in gospel. I mean, the message, the message resonated with me. Some of the message, the brighter side of gospel, because there's a woe is me gospel sometimes, which is, I won't even say really is the gospel, because the gospel is the good news, right? And so I always had this jazz sound and this soulful sound. And so my mom they would go on trips and she would bring me back Mika Parrish, and she would bring me back Ella, and like I literally would have Ella and all these artists. And so I don't know how, but I came across, it wasn't PJ Morton at the time. It was PJ, but he was with his group Freestyle Nation. He wasn't even a solo artist yet. If y'all haven't heard of Freestyle Nation, go look it up. Amazing. And it was PJ's group. And I was like, oh, because I knew who PJ was, and I knew his dad was Bishop Morton. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a preacher's kid. He's a preacher's kid. if he can do that, I can do that. I can do what's in my head. This makes sense for me. And that's why I was saying earlier, the reason why it's important for me to be the way I am as an artist with my message is because me finding freedom on the other side, I can bring freedom to someone else. I felt like that's the gift that PJ unintentionally gave to me. When he found freedom in doing music the way God gave it to him, he doesn't realize a little young girl in Jacksonville, Florida, connected with that, and it birthed Lisa McClendon because of his boldness and because of his bravery.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you share a defining moment in your career when you were able to fulfill that what was in your head?
Oh my. So when I discovered PJ, I just happened to be matched with the right producer, Mo Henderson. And I feel like we were one and the same. He was a producer with that kind of vibe, excuse me, jazzy, soulful. That was his vein. But he was an engineer at a mega church in Jacksonville. But there was this jazz side, like we just kicked it off. Even before I was officially signed, it was just something magical about us. We would just sit in the studio and just like, if anybody know Lisa Mo, this was us.
Yo, I saw it on Instagram, y'all.
That was us all the time. We would discover new music, and so I just know it was divine that God connected us because He got me. And so with that, I was able to go into that studio, and everything that was in me, I was able to express. And He created the music that matched what was in my head. So it's just like two pieces of a puzzle, and we just matched together. So Him bringing who He is allowed me to be who I was.
Nice. I was watching The View the other day, and Leslie Jones, who's a comedian, was on. And she was talking about when she met Jamie Foxx and how she was just like, I want to be a comedian now. She was 19, right? And he's like, you're 19, go out and live, get your heart broke, go do this, go do that, so you will have something to say. And so I bring that up because I immediately thought of you and living life, sharing your testimony, using your music to touch people, but also sharing what you went through in life to free people, to touch people, to be in real. Can you talk about how important it has been for you to live life and have it show up in your artistry?
I think it's natural for me. I don't even really know where you know what? I think it just ties back to my mom again. I think her allowing me to be who I am or who I was, that just followed me throughout my life. So it started with my fashion, the way I dressed, my expression. My mother always allowed us to speak up, speak for ourselves. And she allowed us, if we didn't like something, as long as it was respectful, we could say something about it and we could have a healthy dialogue with my mom. And I think that just kind of followed me throughout the years. It made me comfortable somewhat, as much as I could be at that time, in my own skin. And it's crazy. The more I know about my own skin, the more comfortable I'm in it. Because I feel like my skin now is different than it was in my 20s. In my 20s, I had a naive skin, but I was comfortable in it. I could navigate through it as much as I knew, but I was comfortable in that moment. Because I used to get embarrassed about certain things, and I would reflect, and I would tell myself, don't get embarrassed. That's all you knew. That's why I can give my parents a pass when I say the way they raised us in church, because that's what they knew, and they were convicted by what they knew, and that's what they taught us. Well, my convictions were strong at that moment. Well, now had my heart broke, really been through some stuff, devastation, loss, renewal, loss again. My skin is tougher, and I'm just as comfortable now in this tougher skin as I was in my naive skin. I think it's just important for us to give ourselves space to grow. As we grow, as life continues to teach us, just grow with it. Because some people listen, well, you didn't say that 5 years ago in the interview, because I wasn't thinking like that 5 years ago. I've evolved. I've gotten older. My children are grown. It's just a lot that when you grow in life, you change and you evolve. And I don't think I'm afraid to evolve. And I'm not afraid to share that, because I know what freedom it brings for me. And I'm not a selfish artist. I want to share that gift.
Yes. Yes. And look, and we are better for it. We are better for it. We are better for it. When you talked about like growing up in the church that you did, and you was talking about your mom and how she telling you about the Bible and y'all 8 and y'all 9 and you know, don't touch the Bible, like all of that stuff. So can you tell me, what was your relationship with God then, and how has it evolved, you know, and shown up in your music in that way, you know?
That's a great question. I just remember when I was a little kid, when I would pray, I'm a visionary. I would always visualize God as this huge, I would visualize this big, huge chair, like a throne. And God was on this big old huge throne. I could never see the face, but it was like this big, huge being. And I was afraid of it. I was afraid because that's what I was taught. I was afraid. I went to the altar every Sunday to repent again. I had to get saved again. Next, I got to get saved on Sunday because I thought something bad. I did something bad because that's what they taught us. And now, I don't fear God like that, like in a sense of an unhealthy fear. There's a difference between fear and reverence. While I reverence who spirit is and who the divine is, I don't fear. I don't fear God. I feel like I believe that God wants the best for me. Like we would be taught, don't get your hopes up. Or we would be taught better than that. We would be taught if we did something wrong, God was going to get us. So all my life growing up, I lived life as if this huge being was going to get me. And to me, that's just that, but that's all we knew. And now I don't feel like that. I feel like God is like, I've done everything. You got it. You got this. And when I make a mistake, I'll be like, dang, let me try again. I don't feel condemned. I don't feel embarrassed about who I am. I don't feel like there's no hope. Like I used to feel like I'm never going to get it right. I'm like, no one's going to get it right. No one's perfect. Like that, right. Who does that? I just feel such a sense of freedom. I feel with God the way I feel with my mom. I can be myself. That's the perfect, that's the best way I can explain it. To me, as a child, I saw God like I saw my dad, feared. And now as an adult, mature woman, I see God like I see my mom, freedom.
That was beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I know on your album, I have to look down for this because I want to get it right.
Okay.
On your album, Soul Music, the track, which is like what, 20 years old now, right? That album.
Yeah.
The Soul. Yeah.
The
Invitation. Like she been doing this for a minute, y'all. A minute. The Invitation, which you said was also a heart to heart. You talked about when you were young, that you tried so hard to please people, that you wanted so much for people to accept you, that you start becoming everything for everybody else to the point you lost who you were. How did you overcome that? And how is that growth and evolution reflected in your music?
That really broke over my life. My last divorce, which was really traumatic for me. However, I remember sitting on the bed and I was, woe is me. And I remember saying, God, why you let this happen to me? He abandoned me. And God was like, and what I saw Spirit showing me was like, no, you attracted what you were. You abandoned you. And so I had to wake up. That was a wake up call. As traumatic as it was at that time, it was the worst and best gift I've ever had, because I had to stop and say, okay, this is divorce number 2. You the common denominator. What are you doing wrong? And I had to own that I had been past tense, hiding behind not just the microphone, but hiding behind other people and not taking responsibility for my own life, because I was afraid. I was afraid that I didn't know how to take accountability or take responsibility for my own life. I thought of myself as weak. Just because of the way I was raised, I thought women were seen as weaker. And I thought of myself as weak. I couldn't do anything right, especially if you've been taught that you serve a God that every time you mess up, God gonna get you, and no one's perfect. It messes with your self-esteem. So I had very low self-esteem. And so that just woke me up. And then I got mad. I got mad at the church. I got mad at everybody who said that they love God, said that they love Jesus. I got mad. And that anger pushed me away, and I had to leave church. And when I left church, that's when I walked into God.
Wow.
And it wasn't people in the church. It was people from other denominations. It was people that never went to church. It was I had this Muslim guy come and tell me, he was like, God is going to heal you. He's going to send you back to church. Like it made me say, wait a minute, this ain't the God that I was taught. I was taught the God that I was taught, only people who are Christians speak like this. God can use whoever God want to use.
Come on now.
It was no one from the church that sent me back to God.
Yeah.
It was the people that don't go to church that God was speaking through. Because to the point where, because it happened that way, Q, I couldn't deny it was God. I'm like, ain't no way. If it was somebody from my choir, one of the ushers, one of the elders, then I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah.
But you are clearly not a Christian, and you just told me God is going to heal me, and you're the one that commissioned me to forgive the people that hurt me. You, the New Age folk. It was a New Age girl said, God is going to teach you how to forgive and send you back. So that's why I'm like, don't come to me when you want to judge somebody, because the people that you look down on are the people that helped me heal to send me back. So my thing is, that's how I evolved. I evolved in knowing that God is bigger than a denomination.
Come on.
God is bigger than your Sunday morning service. God is bigger than your Wednesday night Bible study. God is bigger. I'm just saying.
Yes. Listen, I had to just be super quiet so that everybody could hear that. I didn't want no interruption from me, because that right there is a word. Okay.
God is so big. It's my narrative changed. Like, some of the people, not everybody, but some of the people who was just quoting scripture, I would see them panic in distress. And I'm like, wait a minute. But you just said this scripture, that scripture. Where is your faith? And I had to step back to get my own foundation, my own faith in God, and change my narrative. And it's funny because a lot of people that were around me in the church that I was at that time, when I was back home, were coming to me and said, you've tapped into something. I need what you got. Like, literally, this one girl, she saw me do a live on Facebook and looked in the background to figure out where I was. No lie. Yes. And when I finally logged off of live, a few minutes later, she walks up and I was like, how you know I was out here? She said, I saw you on live and I had to find you. I had to get to you because God said, you got something to tell me. And I was able to share it because I felt like people thought I was crazy. They felt like I had turned my back on God, and they felt like that since I went through that divorce that I was doing something outside of God. And I was like, no, I'm finding God. Like, what y'all got going on? Y'all do what's in your heart to do. But I have just made, God is way bigger than what I ever imagined. And it just enlarged my territory, if you will.
What did you learn about yourself through that process?
Oh my God, that I'm strong, that I'm brilliant, that I'm resilient, that I'm valuable,
Yeah.
And when you're valuable, you don't treat it any kind of way.
Yeah.
When you're valuable, not only can other people not talk to you and treat you any kind of way, you can't talk to you and treat you any kind of way. So when those narrations or narratives happen in my mind that are on autopilot because of the way I've been raised, and so, some of those things we've been taught before, so stuff just speaks on auto, I have to tell myself, we don't talk like that anymore. We don't think like that anymore. No, you don't get to down me anymore. You don't get to say that. You don't get to think that. What you mean we can't? We can't. Oh, yes, we can. We'll figure it out. I say that hundreds of times a day. Oh, we're going to figure it out, because I've been taught so much negative. I had to teach myself, no, that doesn't portray the God that I know now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. And what I love about what you said is that you're the leader now. You had abandoned yourself.
I'm the
And then when you came and put that crown back on your head, not
yes,
only are you leading you, you're showing other people how to deal with you because you are
yes.
now valuable. Mhm.
Yeah. When you know your value, people can sense it, and they won't even stick around. They won't stick around. And I learned that because my circle changed. It got very small. It got extremely small because I changed, because people realized they couldn't talk to me any kind of way anymore. And they couldn't treat me any kind of way anymore. And I wasn't gonna allow it. But again, like I said, if I'm gonna have that expectation of other people, I have to have that same expectation of myself. So I
Yeah.
don't get to beat me up either. If I
Oh,
made a mistake, I'll be like, okay. And
yeah.
who else ain't?
But that's the beautiful part because no matter how much time you spent with those other people, it doesn't compare to you spending time with yourself since you were born. You know, you
We're
spend the most time with you.
and we're probably, and I would say 100%, not even 99, 100%. I feel, and we beat ourselves up more than other people,
Yeah,
because you just said it. We have a greater opportunity to do so because we're with
that
ourselves all
that
the time.
that's why we allow them to because they are echoing what we're
Ah,
saying to ourselves.
that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's good. You're right. So right. But we don't do that anymore. We've
Thank
unsubscribed
you.
from that.
Because
We've
listen,
unsubscribed from that subscription.
thank you. Because listen, when you change that tape, okay, you looking for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
other instrumental to go with that song that you're playing. Come on.
Exactly. Look, I'm sorry.
Now, as a songwriter, can you tell me the difference between telling your story but not your business?
Oh,
How
that's
can you
good.
how can you share without doing both?
I've done both. Um, you know what? That's such an amazing question. And there is a difference. So and it's funny because there's this term. Okay, so I'm a psychology student, so forgive me. There's this term in psychology called self-regulation that I've had to learn over the years, which is a part of emotional intelligence. And self-regulation looks like someone who is telling their story. Is that what you said? Their story?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
And
What's
non
the difference between telling your story but not your business?
okay. So self-regulation is telling your story. Um, non-self-regulation, I know the opposite would be how we would term that, would be telling your business. So for me, it would be the difference of me, it's leaving out the details.
Okay.
So I can tell you that I can tell you that I have to go, but I got to tell you where I'm going. I can tell you that I couldn't get to the phone, but I don't have to tell you why I couldn't get to the phone.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I can even tell it's just, but you get it, It's just it's the omission of the details. When
Mm-hmm.
you go into the details, that's when you go into business. Because I think about it like this: when you go into a business meeting, when
Yeah.
you walk into a business meeting, it's to discuss details.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. We're gonna leave out the details, and I'm gonna give you just enough for you to be informed,
Right.
but not where you can use it against me.
Come on. I love
You
that.
ready? You ready? You ready?
Yes. You said God told you to tell your story. What did God do to make you to be able to share your story and your truth? Like how was he able to make you, or you was just born that way? Because it sounds
I
like
don't
you
think
said,
it's. I don't even think I was born. But I don't know about that. I don't. I think if we're referencing God in it, I just think what God did was do nothing, in the sense of just let life happen.
mm-hmm,
Um, that's another thing I felt like, the way I was raised was God was gonna rescue us from everything. God will
mm-hmm,
save us from everything. Well, what do you mean by that? Because I feel like my mom did used to try to protect us from everything, and that was one of the things she meant well, but it also helped make us weak, because you have to allow life to happen. It's like going into a gym. You
mm-hmm.
go into a gym and you build resistance, and I think God stepping back and letting life happen and let me learn how to build resistance. That's the reason why I am the way I am, because I learned as I continue to grow through life, I learned resistance. And the more I've learned resistance, the more I can share because I continue to grow, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, no, it does.
I think that's the thing.
Because you also said God will have you write stuff and then have you go back and live it.
Girl. Girl. I was like, we're doing what? Yeah. Oh my God, yes. And I would say at the time you couldn't tell me nothing because I'm like, I'm living this now. And then years later, I'm like, oh my Lord, I ain't really live it. I mean, I scratched the surface, got a little paint under my nails, but now I got wood under my nails. Oh my God, because my first divorce, and I don't want to stay on that, but my first divorce, I thought I went through something. Mm-hmm. Sure. It was that second divorce that was like, oh, you know. So it's like sometimes we feel like we really went. For me, I really felt like I went through something, but I see myself going through those stories more than once. Sometimes the story is more intense. So it may be the same topic, but the contents is more intense. So maybe you know what I'm saying. So maybe I sang my first album about heartbreak. And then about the fifth album is heartbreak.
I get
it. No, it's heartbreak, baby.
So speaking of that, just going through stuff in life, how important has mental health been for you as a wife, as a mother, as an artist, as a child of God? Like, can you speak to mental health? Because I always love talking to people who subscribe to, positive mental health and keeping yourself strong and fit, not just in the gym, but up here.
Yes. Girl, I have a premium subscription. I have a premium plan to mental health. Listen, it is the thing. And I would say it two ways. It is the thing that has saved my life. And it is the thing that God has used to save my life. When I went through a big family transition, one of the first things I did was went to therapy.
Yes.
And another thing that I did, which may sound simple for some people, but I am who I am. I started reading. I started reading books that weren't the Bible.
Big change.
You say that? Yes. I started discovering that God uses other people to speak into your life too.
Yes. God has all the tools.
So I started reading books, and those books started leading me to different mental health journeys. I read a book by Valerie Burton called
Valerie Burton, One Day at a Time. Come on, one day at a time.
Where do we go from here?
Come on.
Baby, that book changed my whole life. Roll it out.
You know, I interviewed her, Najee.
Listen, when you talk to her, let her know that she changed my life. That book changed. And so to me, that was therapy. That was a form of mental health. The things that she talked about was just amazing. There's also another book that I read called The Game of Life and How It's Played by Florence Scovel Shinn. Oh, God. And then there's another book that I read. I can't think of his last name, but it's called As a Man Thinketh. And those books just started opening my mind and started making me change the way I spoke and the way I think, which is all a part of mental health.
Yes.
And then I decided, what did I need to do to change to enhance my mental health? I was always a pretty good eater. I'm a pescatarian, I should say. So very good at eating well. But then I needed to start reading more, things that would feed my mind and my spirit. I needed to stop watching some things that were garbage. And I ain't knocking nobody. Like, I ain't knocking nobody. I had to stop watching the housewives stuff. It was toxic for me. It was draining my energy. I didn't want to see Black women talking bad at each other and down in, and I didn't want and I didn't want to hear the gossip. I didn't want to watch stuff that I don't care. If you're not empowering my life for me to be better, I don't want to see it. And so I had to do a lot of things, detach from a lot of things and attach and relearn some things. And then I started walking and getting more in nature. I started gardening again. Nature is so important. That's what we were created in nature. That is my go-to, staying in nature. When I'm feeling down, nature, that's the first place I go in the morning, 7 a.m. out in the nature. So
I just love that you finally got to see that God uses all things. You know, God, like, because just the Bible, you're putting him in a box, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
We could even have, the Bible is full of different people's story of encounters with God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From different cultures.
Yep.
But we're not going to go there. But so, yeah.
Well, listen, one of the things that we have in common, one of the oldest of four. My sister. Yes. What was it like being the oldest, a preacher's kid? Like, what kind of responsibilities fell on you as the oldest child?
Like what I'm going through right now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's always on us.
Mm-hmm.
It's always on us. Like
it's
just always on us. It's just always on us. It's a big responsibility. But I need these younger siblings out there of the world to know that us older siblings need y'all to step up. Like we can't do it. We're gonna break. We need y'all help, and we don't need y'all to wait for us to ask either.
Come on.
Sometimes you just need to discern that we need you.
Yeah, I love that. That's a word.
Listen, it's free. You just need to discern that we need help. Mm-hmm. And I think being the older sibling is likened to being that strong Black woman. I don't always want to be the strong Black woman.
Can I be weak? Can I be soft? Can I be soft?
Can I be soft? And I think it's such a big expectation put on us by our parents, by our siblings, by our other family members. And it's like, y'all the one drive us to therapy. Like, come on. Like, exactly. we need look, if who was it in the Bible? I want to say it was Abraham or Moses. I always get the two mixed up. It was Abraham. And he had to have Miriam hold up one hand arm and the other, can't think of the guy, but he had them two hold his arms up because he was tired. We tired. God told him to hold that cane up. I think he held that cane up when the waters were parting. I think that's the story. I hope I'm not getting confused. And they held his arms up.
Yeah.
Y'all need to come hold up our arms.
Listen, I think that's why I'm not a parent today, because I raised your kids.
Look, girl, that's why I stopped with 2. I was like, I'm 2 and I'm done. But
you know what? As an oldest person, like an oldest sibling, like I didn't know any other way. It wasn't until I got older that I realized, oh, I had a lot of responsibility.
I was the other parent.
Yes.
Girl, you know what? Okay, so it's funny because, you were thinking, did I make that up? And my mother took me to dinner when I was 21 because I had just gotten married. I wouldn't even think about it. We was at Red Lobster too, girl, Red Lobster. And my mother said to me, she said, I just want to apologize to you for taking your childhood away. And I was like, she said, I put a lot of responsibility on you as a child, and I took away your childhood. That's what it means to be the oldest.
Wow. I was telling somebody a piece of my childhood, and I told my mom, I was like, yeah. And her response was like, that's a lot for an 8-year-old. And my mom was like, yes, it was.
Yes, it was, mother.
Yes. Look, she agreed, she didn't apologize, but she was like, Yes. And she's like, I didn't know any other way to do it, but that was way too much.
They didn't know that they didn't
Yeah.
know. As a matter of fact,
So that's what I give her. I give her grace, but I didn't know any different. I just thought that was life.
And you know what's crazy? Because we were raised that way, you grow up with that, feeling like everybody is your responsibility. And I, because of the work that I've been able to do with me, I've given myself permission to not save anyone.
I saw that on your Instagram, how you said no longer people need to rescue themselves from the decisions that they made.
Girl, you did this. And now I'm drowning? No. This ain't gonna never be.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna not this DIS. This ain't gonna
be. That's good. That's good because you got to evolve back to yourself. You know, that's why I don't like group projects, or I don't like being over nothing. And I was like, why am I have such a disdain for that? Because I had way too much responsibility, way too young. But that's good. That's good. Another thing that we have in common is we both make our beds every day, because no matter what traumatic anything, what greatness, every day. Tell me why it's so important that you've created your bedroom to be an oasis, and making your bed is like a hug to you when you come home. Talk about it.
One is because it sets order for my day. My days can get a little chaotic. My thoughts can get a little chaotic because I'm a creator, so I'm always thinking and creating in my brain, even when I don't want to be. I'm like, stop, let's give me a break. You know, it's one of those places that I can look and I took the time to set that order. Like that's the main thing. Order. It's together. It's symbolic of things being aligned. Because if I miss someone, because I have missed mornings, if I ran out and I didn't, it's something about the rest of my day. It just doesn't align right. I'm always behind the 8 ball. Even though I know I was not on time today, I did make my bed this morning. I did make it this morning.
See, come on, look, I believe it.
But it's, but also, especially when I was in, even now, when you go and you, as an entrepreneur, we're always, being an entrepreneur is a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, When the day of chaos is gone and busyness, when I walk into my room and there's order, and order brings calm.
Yes.
It does. It brings calm, because this order brings dysfunction and chaos. And who wants to leave chaos of the world to come and retreat to chaos?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important for my room to just be calm. My incense, my diffuser oil is going. My quiet music, I know it ain't Thanksgiving yet, but I have Charlie Brown Christmas playing in the bed low all day in my room. It just reminds me, well done. You get to come and rest now. Yeah. Who want me kicking clothes up the bed and pushing through? I can't.
But it also speaks to you taking care of you. It
is self-care. You're right, Q. I don't know if I've ever thought about it like that, but it is self-care. It is a way of showing my self-care. I didn't think about it like that. So and I'm really big about self-care. And I didn't even realize that I was doing that, and it represents self-care. So it's just automatic. But you're right. Oh, yeah. You're right.
You talked about being an entrepreneur and how your brain is always moving as a chaotic. Can you talk about like being an independent artist in this music industry? Because it's not just music and creative. Like, we see you on stage, we hear the music, but it's both sides. How have you been able to balance that? And can you speak to how you do it and also remain creative? But business is longer than the word show for a reason.
And this is why you are the celebrity interviewer. That's a great. Yes, business is definitely longer than the word show. So the way I am navigating, because it is still a work in progress, is I'm finding what works for me is scheduling.
Okay.
I have to schedule time, not just for creativity and for work. I have to schedule time for nothing.
I love
So
it.
there is a scientific theory called white space. And the theory is when we have like writer's block or we can't tap in, if you look at something that has nothing there, blank white wall, or close your eyes, that's why meditation is really good. Something that's white, it somehow resets your brain for creativity. You get a blank slate to start over.
Yeah.
So it's it's just that it's a blank slate to just start over and tap in. And so for me, having that quiet time or that space where I take an hour in between and do nothing, it allows my brain to rest. That's how our brains are wired. When we're asleep, when people say you don't need all them hours of sleep, you use a lie. Yes, you do. Science use a lot. Science shows us that when we sleep, our brains are able to take everything that we learned that day and process it and make it make sense. That's why we dream. And when you think about, man, I'll dream solutions. Like I'll be wide awake and can't figure it out and go to sleep. I remember when I was in a relationship and I was braiding this guy's daughter's hair. I wanted to braid her hair. And I didn't know how to braid. True story. I wanted to know how to braid. I didn't know how to braid. And I'm gonna figure out how to braid. Do you know I went to sleep and God showed me how to braid in my sleep? Yes. And when I woke up, I asked the little girl to come here and I braided her hair. And I was like, and that was years ago. And then I learned in school that our brains, when we have difficulty understanding something or challenges, we can actually take that thing to bed with us, and our brains will unwrap the difficulties of it and how it cause us to understand it. Because we're constantly distracted by everything while we're awake. Everything else is fighting for our attention. So we need that blank space so that we can continue to create. That's the most important thing to creativity is rest and taking a break. Not creating, it's rest.
Wow, you just spoke something into me. I love that. Thank you. I received that. That's something that I don't think people hear enough of, especially Black women.
Yeah, because we're always trying to prove ourselves. We're always trying to. I just bought this book. I'm not yelling. But she talks about that how Black women are trying to prove themselves in the workplace. But we do. We're always trying to prove ourselves but we do need to rest. We do need to rest. Our creativity and our productivity depends on it. Yeah.
What has it been like for because I know you love performing in the UK. I mean, overseas is so different because they actually appreciate, I think you talk about them bringing sheet music to one of your concerts. Like that's how dedicated, because they about the music, they about the art, what was it like for you to be able, because you said, growing up in a small country town, you wanted to explore and be a well-rounded person, be able to be exposed, but also be able to expose your daughter. Yes. So how talk about how your art has been a passport, for just showing you the world in a different way.
Yes. My first plane ride, I was pregnant with my daughter, and someone saw something in me and asked me if I wanted to go to New York and be a part of this group they had put together to sing at this ministry. It was my first time on the plane, and it changed my life. It changed my life because I realized that the world is way bigger than the little town that I was raised in, Palaca, Florida. And then I'm thinking when I got to Jacksonville, oh, it's big city. Girl, honey. And then when I went to Europe, oh my Lord, like my mind expanded, like even down to realizing that everybody is just different. The way people worship God, there are some things that are foundational that are the same, but some people at other places do things totally different. And it just allowed me to see that a lot of things that we believe about life, or about God, I should say, is it's not even Bible, it's just culture.
Mm.
It's not even, it has nothing to do whether it's holy or unholy. You are holy. It's just
Come on. Listen. That's what I listened to before I started this interview. Okay.
It's just, but it's just culture. And so me traveling exposed me to culture. It exposed me to it exposed me to other arts. It exposed me to other sounds. It exposed me to other foods. And that just opened my little mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been the greatest thing, because my first trip to Europe, I took my daughter.
Right.
And it's
was
crazy.
She like 4? She was a baby.
She was 4. I want to say she was 4. Yep, because my son came when she was 5. Yep, she was 4. And now she's 23, and I see her, and she's so different. Like, she's so unique. She explores. She's always into something new, and she's so open-minded, and she explores different fruits and vegetables. I thought I was something. She's so exotic, and she speaks other languages. She speaks Korean and Japanese. And
come on with the trilingual.
Listen, black girl.
Yes,
black girl. But it all started with her. I believe it started with her being on that plane to Europe, which started with me being on that plane in New York.
Yeah, it's what you planted in her.
Which is what my mom planted.
Come on. It's the roots. It's the roots of that tree.
Yeah.
But isn't it beautiful though to see how what you placed in her combined with God put in her? And I'm not just talking about her, also your son Josh, like both of them, that, you know what I mean? You see you, but you also see them.
Yeah. And I think I just said that to them recently. I'm like, God, both of y'all got a little bit of me. Both, it's so weird seeing me in both of them in different ways. Like, my son don't speak a lick of nothing but English. Mm-hmm. But he's a producer. He's doing music. Nobody in our family thought that boy would ever do music. He is amazing. And I'm like, where did you get that from? And they look at me like, did you really ask that question? Like, I didn't see it coming. Yeah. But yeah, just to see me in them and see them, because they're their own human beings, their own individuals. It's fascinating. They're brilliant. They are really brilliant.
What did they teach you about yourself, like raising them?
That's a good one. What have my kids taught me about myself? They have taught me that I am worthy of someone being proud of. And they have taught me that I am worthy of someone being loved and looked up to. They say to me often, even to this day, one of them, my son, just said it before our interview. He was going to the basketball court. He said, "Ma, I just want you to know I'm proud of you." I said, well, thank you. I mean, he says it before, but I'm like, well, why? He's like, because you're doing your thing. I see you, Ma. I see you. Like, do your interview. Keep doing your thing. You keep singing, man. You just inspire me, Ma. I was like, I appreciate that. You know, your family know you better than anybody. Yes. You know, so if they celebrate you, it's like, okay, I'm worthy of being celebrated. First, it starts with me. Now my family, the two people that know me better than anybody, are celebrating me. Yeah, I'm worthy to be celebrated.
And is. Well, listen, now we then came to, well, before I get to the Lisa McClendon lightning round, I wanted to ask you, I got a Lisa McClendon lightning round, and then my personal request. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a little bit after that. I saw this on your Instagram, and I just wanted you to address this before I moved on. How do you not succumb to the symptoms of failure?
Ooh. That's my sweet spot. Okay. Listen up, people, because here's the formula. I'm going to tell you what it's likened to. It's likened unto feeling that scratchy throat coming on and that nose running, and you said, I ain't got time to be sick, because I just got tickets to see Beyonce, and I don't pay $300 for them tickets, and them tickets are not going to waste. I've been waiting all year, or whoever you admire, and I ain't nowhere where I'm going to miss this. And you drank every emergency and take every NyQuil pill, and like if you like anything like me, you rub every part of your body with peppermint oil, and you rub the excess on the back of your neck and on your chest, get a little extra. You put a little bit in your diffuser. You say some prayers over yourself as well. You wrap up, you sweat it out, because you refuse to be sick.
Come on.
So for me, I am on a path. I refuse to fail. So when I feel that failure trying to come up, oh, that show got canceled. Okay, that's that scratchy throat. All right, well, we're gonna make some more calls. We're gonna get the team, we're gonna hone in, we're gonna sit and we're gonna research, we're gonna figure out some other avenues. One door closes, three more can open. What we saying? We go look at some videos on YouTube to see people who've overcome. Oh, wait a minute, if they can overcome, so can I. We're not gonna be down on ourselves. We're not gonna have a pity party, because other people have been through this path as well and they've succeeded. So it's listening to books. It's getting up. It looks like getting up every morning and going to the gym and figuring stuff out while I'm on the bag, punching the bag. I'm thinking it through. Gosh, some what to do. What's the formula? What's the solution? It's leaving the gym and coming home and making calls that you don't want to make. It's coming home and dealing with stuff that you don't want to do it, because this is what people who want to succeed do. It's doing the things that you don't want to do because you have to do it, because you know it's going to cause you to get to where you want to be in life, because you refuse to fail. It's understanding that it's not that you don't know the answer. You just got to figure it out.
I love it.
And I refuse to fail. So I'm always telling myself, if I can work for a national brand and figure stuff out when they had all kind of obstacles coming towards me, I said, there's no way I can't take that same brain and apply it to my own life. I'm going to figure this out. No, it's not an option. It's just that I can't do it here. So how can I get this done? What do I need to adjust? Where do I need to go? How many emergency drinks do I need to take so I don't get sick?
I love it. And before I get to the lightning round, I thought about this question, and if you're not comfortable with addressing it, that's fine. But you're so open. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't get it from you know what I mean, somebody in the family. It was on the internet, you know. Okay. So and it's the third thing that we share in common. Not such a great thing, but abuse as a child. And the reason I bring it up, I was abused as a child. You had abuse as a child. And the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because of how much life you have spoke into young girls. And because you had to go through something, I think it allowed you to be a vessel to connect, to create, you know, all of the things that you've done to connect with young people, being a youth pastor, being, you know, Yee's Village, and just different things that you've done. And I just want to know if you could speak to that, because so many of us have been touched as a child, and, you know, walking around here with no therapy, walking around here and it's showing up in our lives. And for somebody who could speak on it, like, I mean, my first time of even saying it publicly was in an interview with Sheila E., because she had said it. So this is only my second time speaking about it, like in this kind of form. Yeah. But because you're so open and you used your trauma to help others. And I just think it's just like mental health is something that we can never really talk about enough.
Yeah. Wow. It was. So you want me to talk about it, or how I came through it, or
how whatever you feel comfortable with it, like, you know, just whatever, because I just the bridge, as I'm saying, is that you use your pain as something to touch others and help them and reach them where they were. And maybe had you not went through that, you might not have been able to do that.
Right. So yeah, that was really traumatic. I was 7 years old, and my parents were sending me to the Sunday school teacher's house. But what they did not know is that when I was getting off the bus to go to her house, she was at work. I was being left with her her son, who was my abuser, and then his cousin, a boy named Charlie, he was also there, and so he would just make us perform crazy stuff for him. He just kind of messed up, and that brought about a lot of fear, also insecurity. I'm sure that I know that introduced insecurity, because for years the story in my head was my parents let that happen. Because as a child, you depend on your parents to protect you, and then as you get older, then you become a parent, then you realize that's not realistic. Your parents couldn't have possibly known that was happening unless you told them. And then you're like, wait a minute, yeah, I never did tell them, so of course they didn't know.
Yeah.
So one day a counselor said to write the story of my abuse and read the story every day until the pain is gone, until it's a story, but it's not a pain. It's not my pain spot. And I did. And I could, and as I read it, it made me deal with some things. I actually found my abuser online, and he apparently had gotten arrested for something recently. Now, mind you, this was years later. This was, girl, I was 7, 8 when that happened. I was in my 30s. I was almost 40 when I saw him online. And I started reading the story, watching him, looking at his picture, his mugshot online. And I just started to just get my power back. Like, first of all, I had to dismiss all of the lies. One of my parents did not know that he was a monster, not me. There was nothing wrong with me, because I thought something was wrong. Why would he do that to me? There was nothing wrong with him. There was something wrong with him, not anything wrong with me.
Absolutely.
And then just the more I read that story, the less I was ashamed about it, because you know what? I started realizing that I wasn't the only one that had been molested. Other people had been molested, and people had overcome. And I'm like, and again, it goes back to that, because I was able to see other people that overcame. I'm like, oh, okay, I can overcome that too. That doesn't have to be my story. It was something that happened to me, but it's not who I am,
Yes.
And then I started working with girls when I lived in Charlotte. I started working with girls, and that was one of the things I talked about a lot with them, abuse. And I started realizing these girls were living with that every day. And then I just had this crazy idea. And the idea was, could it be not that God let it happen, but could it be that God will use this to help me help other girls? Like, what literally came to mind was, wow, I'm honored that God allowed me to get through that. Because had I never gone through that, I wouldn't be able to relate to these girls who come to me at our sessions saying that they were molested. I had a girl, she was 13 years old, pregnant by her mama's boyfriend. Pregnant by her mama's boyfriend. And there was no way I would have known what to do with that had I not been through what I had been through.
And how has helping them helped you?
Helping them, it made it feel like it was all worth it. It wasn't in vain.
Yeah.
It wasn't in vain.
Yeah.
Because those girls were like the muscles that I would see as a result of me going to the gym. Oh,
come on. Come on.
That's the best way I can explain it in this moment.
Yeah.
It's like when you see the muscles, you're like, okay, the pain at the gym was worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting up at 6 a.m. being at the gym early. Okay, that's why. Yeah. Your pain, that's why.
That pain transformed into purpose. Wow.
Yes.
I love that. Well, thank you for, going there. I wasn't, I appreciate you because,
you're welcome.
It's not an easy thing, even though it can be something that you can do, So sure. I appreciate that. Sure. Thank you. So we're gonna go lighter. We about to go lighter.
Okay.
This is the Lisa.
And I'm here.
Okay. This is the Lisa McClendon lightning round questions.
All right.
Okay. Nashville, Florida, or North Carolina?
Nashville, Florida, or North Carolina? And I say that. Okay, so I would them all for different reasons. Let me do that. Okay, I'm gonna leave Florida for last. Nashville for the seasons, which is the reason why I moved there. Seasons are incredible. Nashville for the seasons. You say Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Carolina for the culture. Carolina is the charm for the charm. I'm sorry, for the charm.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida for the sun.
Come on,
Honey,
come on, son.
When I came back to the sun, I said, "Oh, God, I thank you."
I missed you.
Girl, I was like, I forgot that we can wear shorts in December.
That's a blessing.
Listen, my son didn't like it because my son, you know, he was born in Nashville. It took him a minute, but those are my reasons.
Okay. Late nights or early mornings?
Early mornings. Early mornings, up 6 a.m., hit the gym 6:30. Just something about when everything is quiet and still.
Okay. Lisa's guilty pleasure.
Oh, I have a guilty pleasure. What? I forgot what it was. What's my guilty pleasure? Oh, you know what? I think my guilty pleasure is binge watching.
Really?
I think that's my right now. I think that it changes from time to time, but right now, because I haven't binge watched in a while because I don't have time for it. So when I get away and can just binge watch, and just do nothing, which I don't get a chance to do a lot of. But yeah, that and then my other guilty pleasure is Stone Cold ice cream.
Ooh.
The banana caramel crunch with sweet cream ice.
Come on. She got an order ready. Okay, I know you love touring in the UK. Which place is your favorite to perform in? London, Nottingham, or Birmingham?
London. They were all great, but honey, let me tell you something. London was ready. They were the ones that had the sheet music. Girl, I said, these kids are coming. They don't come over here with sheet music. Y'all play too much.
Okay, you can only do one. Like you got a free day to do one of these. Okay. Which one you picking? Gardening, African dance, or drinking tea, lighting a candle, and laying down in your oasis, which is your bedroom, making jewelry, or sewing something fly and fashionable?
Tea with a candle, lying down the oasis, because that means I'm not doing anything and I don't get a lot of those opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's what I love about your song, Mood. Yeah.
It's a mood. Yeah.
We don't do nothing. We can just enjoy and savor the moment, as you say.
And that's the word, savor.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have a scripture wall? And if so, what is the scripture on it that you read every day?
I don't. I forgot I used to have that. I don't even have
a wall.
I need a wall.
Well, you had it.
I had a wall, and my scripture, my wall was what was that scripture? I have brought you out of darkness into the marvelous light, because I felt like I was in darkness, and I was going through a lot of mental health stuff, and I didn't even know what was wrong with me. And that scripture is like, God was like, I'm bringing you to the light. And I just, and so now I'm in the light because I'm not in the darkness.
Yes. So it served its purpose.
It served its purpose for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, she's an author, so I want to know what your favorite book is. Okay, Proverbial Girl Devotional.
Oh.
And She Lives Happily Ever After, or LJ the Great, I'm So Proud of Myself.
LJ the Great, I'm So Proud of Myself. Of course, my first children's book that I need to do the sequels. It's supposed to be a three-part book. But that was my first children's book, and I absolutely love that book. The reason why it's my favorite is because it speaks to empowering children, particularly young brown and black boys. Because that book is important to me because I worked with kids for a long time. For kids to know that they should be proud of themselves. Because when kids know that they're proud of themselves, they'll grow up to be adults that know that they're proud of themselves.
And we need more of them.
But it starts as a child.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Favorite musician in your family? Because you said everybody can do something.
My son.
Nice.
It's remarkable to watch him. I'm like, how do you know how to do all of that? Like, I don't even know how to do that. Like, to see him create music, the way he writes, and he doesn't even write. He just goes to the studio and he finds a track and then he sings the song out of his head. I'm like, I can't even do that. Wow. So he's a singing Jay-Z.
I was about to say that's who came to my mind, Jay-Z, because that's what he would do.
He's a singing Jay-Z.
Your favorite Bible scripture?
My favorite Bible scripture. Oh, probably now maybe something more out of Ecclesiastes that says, how's that scripture go? That there's nothing new under the sun. I think that's probably my favorite scripture right now. Yeah, probably that. Probably that one.
Okay. Probably. Hardest job: being a youth pastor, a pastor's wife, a preacher's kid, an artist, a fashion designer, a mom, or the oldest child of 4. Which one was your hardest role?
A pastor's wife. That was. Can I say hell on here? That was hell.
Yeah, you can say yeah.
That's a whole lot of stuff. That was that was hell, and I think and it was because I took on a role that I let someone else talk me into. Somebody told me because I was married to a pastor, I had to be a pastor, and that's just not true. There are some amazing women who are married to pastors, and their call is to be who they are and to support their husband. They don't have to be a pastor's wife to be that's not true. But I was just trying to fall in line, if you will. And that's just not what God has created me to be. Some people are gifted for that. That's just not who I'm gifted to be.
Mm-hmm. But you have to, I guess, do it to learn that wasn't.
I'm not interested in governing people's lives and stuff in that. Like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather be a teammate, not the captain.
Yeah. And that goes with your whole idea of freedom.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on the bench with you, cheering you on, than being the coach. You let somebody else be the coach. I don't need to.
Yeah. And plus, you had a lot of experience with that, just being the oldest.
That's what's wrong with us now. That's what's wrong with us now. That's what's wrong with us. That's exactly it. I don't want to do it because I've been doing it all my life. I'm trying to be the coach. Yeah. I don't want to be the coach. Everybody's trying to be a life coach. And it's funny because that came to me about a month ago. I do a meditation walk every morning. And I was like, everybody want to be a life coach. I don't want to be a coach. I just want to be on the team. I want to be on your team. Let me be on the bench with you.
Yeah. I don't want to leave nothing but me.
You tired. Hold our hands up. Come on, Miriam and Aaron. His name was Aaron. Miriam and Aaron.
Listen, you could have called them anything. I wouldn't know.
But your followers know. They were like, she quoting the scriptures wrong. She gonna pass this.
I would have been like, if she said it was Betty and Angela, that's who it was. That would have been me.
Aaron and Miriam. Hold our arms up.
One of them got to go, Lisa. Lauryn Hill, India Ari, Jill Scott, PJ Morton, or Ella Fitzgerald.
Blasphemy! This is an abomination. Oh my God. Okay. Well, Ella started it all, so she ain't going nowhere. Dang. I hate to do it. Okay, you said Ella, India, Lauryn, PJ. You said Jill Scott?
Yep.
Ooh, okay, let's do a process of elimination. So Ella stays.
She's staying.
And PJ stays.
PJ staying.
PJ and Ella gotta stay because of their influence in my career now. So that leaves Lauryn, Jill, and India. So Jill influenced me around the time PJ too. So I'm gonna keep Jill. Believe it or not, Lauren has to go. Because the message that India Ari embodies, that's goals for me. Like, to make sure everything that I say is intentional and it's life changing. And I think India has such an amazing way of combining of keeping us in inspiration.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to just be gospel, because some people won't even listen if it's just gospel. That's why I want to keep the inspiration. Everybody, unfortunately, is not inspired by gospel because of whatever they believe. So I think inspiration is just as important. And I feel like she does such a great, because she's not a gospel artist, but I tell you what, a lot of church folk did her at her concerts.
Come on.
A lot of church folk are
because she's touching the soul.
She's touching the soul. And El Boogie got the swag, but I'll take the soul over the swag any day.
Come on. I love that. Soul over swag. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she late.
And look. Can I just say that everybody, bye Lauren. Bye Lauren. I knew Lauren was gone. I knew it.
I was trying to
And this is the last Lisa McClendon lightning round question. Describe the following with one word. So I'm going to name, some people or things or whatever, and you have to describe it with one word. You ready? Okay. Is it the Yee Village? How do I pronounce that?
Oh, yay.
Yay Village.
Yay. Yeah, one word. Art.
Youth pastor.
Fulfilling.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Iconic.
The song Uphold Me by the Winans.
Nostalgic. Is that right? Am I saying it right? Okay, nostalgic.
Pearl Bailey.
Warm.
Dinah Washington.
Soulful.
Natalie Cole.
I just thought about her yesterday. Beloved.
Betty Carter.
Ooh. Mama.
PJ Morton.
Brother.
Billion Taylor. He's a radio personality that your first radio interview.
Oh, really? Radio.
Diamond.
Classy.
Josh.
King.
Lisa McClendon.
Lisa.
Come on. Well, that was going to be the end, but I saw a couple of people beg me in the comments to ask you about Rochelle Farrell and Whitney Houston. And take your time.
Whitney, songbird for sure. Voice like none other. Just angelic voice. Like error free. No errors. Just perfect. And nobody's perfect, but perfect. Okay, good. Okay. Rochelle Farrell. She is masterful. That woman is a vocal genius. Not just a vocal genius, she is the epitome of no rules. I don't know if you've all seen a clip where she did a show, and then within her show, she did some type of sound with her voice where she went, ow, ow, and that's all she was doing. And she was doing it for a long time, and she was singing. People were like, what is she doing? That was art. There were no rules. Mm-hmm. And it was like, how is she making that sound like amazing? And she was literally just crackling her throat with confidence. Mm-hmm. No rules. She has no rules when it comes to music. Mm-hmm. None. She's amazing.
Well, now we have come to the place where it's time to collect for the lateness. Oh yes, yes. So the interview I had a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I don't know. With Gordon Chambers, you may know who he is. But he's also a vocal coach, right? So he gave me some tips, okay? And he said I needed to curb my enthusiasm because I'm too enthusiastic to sing with people who can sing when I right? So I saw this little clip on YouTube that I clipped out of you singing, and it was kind of like a call and response. And so when we come back on the other side of it, I want you to do a little bit, and then I'll respond in my best new voice, okay?
The fact that you cleared your throat lets us know.
Listen, I'm gonna be gargling when
you're gonna be gargling,
and then doing a quick little drop for me, your name, and you watch the video too, and just it can be just 15 seconds of any Whitney Houston song that crossed your heart.
I don't do Whitney. Only Whitney can do Whitney.
But you could do it in a Lisa McClendon way, because I sure enough saw you do Weak. I sure enough saw you do.
You know what? Celebrity interviewers that know that do their homework. Okay.
I ain't trying to have you do a whole Whitney song.
Okay,
I got you. Okay. I have a huge Whitney.
I'm paying my dues.
Listen. I still was gonna ask you this even if you was on time, but so I want to play this clip so I can but that's the assignment when we come back after this clip. But it's also gonna be a great opportunity for people. I don't know when this was done. It was uploaded a year ago, but it could have been, who knows when it was done. So you could tell us when on the other side of it. But this is Lisa McClendon singing If You Fall. It's one of my, I love how she did this live and interacted with the audience. And I was like, if I could just get that one little line, I could do a duet with Lisa. So here we go, you guys.
My brother, my sister, you gotta believe me when I tell you that I've been there myself a time or two. But don't you give up now. God will show you how to stand in the rain and through the pain. You fall, don't stay down, gotta get up again. Lord, give me another chance. And just in case I make a mistake, Lord, please show me your grace. Lord, give me another chance. We go to the bridge. Listen, hey, so watch what you say and what you do. Don't be fooled, next time it could be you. Give me another chance. Hey, hey, hey. Even a righteous man falls down 7 times, but he will get up if he knows in his mind. Give me another chance. Oh, 'cause there have no temptation taken you. What is common to man? But my God is faithful, and a way of escape He's made for you. So take it. So if you fall, this is all you got to do. a mistake. Lord, please show me your grace. Lord, give me another chance. It's a kick, come on. If you fall, don't stay down. Gotta get up again. Y'all can stand. Lord, oh, choir. Hey, and just in case I make a mistake, Lord, please show me your grace. And what y'all gonna ask him? You should say it again, huh? All right. If you fall and don't stay down, gotta get up again. Come on, ask him real loud. Hey, and just in case I make a mistake, Lord, please show me your grace. One more time.
Yeah. Lord, Lord, Lord. I gotta find my note. I know. Lord, give me another chance. Come on now. You got
I'm going, oh, I remember that dress. I remember that bracelet. I remember that hairpiece.
it was fire.
It was.
The words,
I was.
the audience, the spirit.
I remember that.
I don't know when that was, but
I was trying to remember. That was either Ohio or Washington.
But what year?
Okay, so I can tell you that I just had a baby. I could tell by my face. And so Diamond was probably, Josh wasn't born yet. So that would have been 22 years ago.
Wow.
22 years ago.
Listen.
About 22 years, because I had that dress when I had Diamonds. Yep, so about 22 years ago.
Amazing. See, that's what I love about, greatness. It never expires.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I was like, God, I was hoarse. I was like, wow, that sounds so hoarse.
And I was like, give me another chance. I was in the audience.
I was like, wow, just here. Look at her. I loved it. I loved it, though. I loved it. I was growing a lot then and learning the industry and learning my voice, learning me. It was just such a great time.
And your performance, it was too long for me to convert, but your performance of You Are Holy in that same experience was so beautiful, you know. So I just, I was like,
how did you get that? That's crazy. It was amazing.
Listen, it was on Beyonce's internet.
That's crazy. I love it. I don't think I've ever seen that. So
are you serious?
I don't remember it. I remember it, but I don't remember seeing it afterwards.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, what a treat for you to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
To see you. Somebody asked, do you scat?
I don't scat, and I want to. I want to take a scat class.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
We should do that together. Skip, bow.
Yeah, I don't.
Ooh, look,
I think I got it.
Did y'all hear that duet? Did y'all hear that duet?
Yeah, listen, you take the low and I'll take the high. No, I don't. I think growing up listening to Ella intimidated me because she is the scat master.
But you listen, I think you can do anything, Lisa. I think you can do anything.
It's a symptom of not failure. It's ignoring the symptoms of failure.
Thank you. We're not going to succumb to that.
We're not succumbing to that.
I'm
about to go drink my holy water and learn how to scat.
Please do. And then sign up for a duet with me on TikTok or somewhere. You know what I mean? I'll duet you. No, she didn't black out. No, she didn't exit. I'm trying to make us a group.
We're gonna be SV without the W. No, we're gonna be WV without the S. No success.
Listen, well, it's clear you're gonna be the V.
The voice.
I'm just gonna be W for woman. So listen, so can you do a drop, and then after the drop, can you sing 15. I mean, it could be Jesus Loves Me. It could whatever. Whitney.
So Whitney. Okay, I forgot you love Whitney. I did my research.
Oh.
Was it for the love of Whitney or?
Yeah, that's yep. For the. You better do your research. You did your homework.
I just did homework that time. Okay. So
that's okay. You got rid of Lauren, so you know you washed yourself clean.
Lord, Jesus. Got to make sure my earrings right.
Oh, look. Everybody watching, everybody who will watch this on the replay. Hold on. I'm glad you said something about your earrings. Lisa has these on Etsy.
Oh, yes.
She's also a jewelry maker.
Oh, thank you.
So you can go and purchase her.
Gotti Couture with the K. Gotti Couture.
Gotti Couture on Etsy. These are her beautiful earrings. Let me put her there you go. You can also, if you go to her Instagram, you can
so good at this.
You can click the link to go to Gotti Couture and purchase some of her beautiful jewelry that she makes. So let me just do one last little thing of that.
Yes, Gotti Couture with the K by Lisa McClendon. Thank you for that. I adore you for that.
Oh yeah, listen, you're a woman of many talents, so we need to show them all. Okay, all of them, because you're great.
I appreciate that.
Now you ain't getting out of here without something, Whitney. Whatever you want to do.
I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Somebody who loves me. Yeah. Okay.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay! Yes! Yes! Thank you, Lisa.
Her spirit was coming in.
Listen, always does. Always does. Yeah. Always does. And you picked the song that they picked #1 on Billboard as the song of all time.
That is crazy. And you know, I just think it's incredible that you will keep her spirit alive. Oh. Like, you know what I mean? Like you keep, like, we do it from time to time in entertainment and stuff, but you keep her alive on your platform. And then, and when you touch people, because it's, you're everywhere, honey. So that means she's everywhere. So thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Listen, it's my honor to honor her. She gave so much while she was here. And I always try to remind people that, and this goes for all of us, not just Whitney, but what if when we passed away, everything of ours went with it? We couldn't listen to our music. So the fact that she poured, just like you, so much into her art. And even though she's gone on home, look at what we get to experience. Everything that she put in, just like that clip that I just played of you, that was 20-something years ago.
Yes.
But it moved me. And I'm sure everybody in the chat, it moved them. Everybody who will watch it on the replay moved them. So greatness never expires. And it's important to honor people who have moved us, Yeah,
that's awesome. That's dope. That's what's up. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you so much for this Thursday evening with me and opening up and being so, relatable and helpful. Like, you sowed some seeds in people that you have no idea who will watch this tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now. So God bless you for that.
Blessings to you too. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this every moment.
Yay! And where can people see you? I know you got shows coming up. You got music out there. What do you want people to know aside from your jewelry that they can take away?
Well, I'll be in Charlotte on the 26th at the Spectacular Black Girl Art Show, and I'll also be with them again, the Spectacular Black Girl Art Show, December 3rd in Atlanta. So I'm excited about those two shows that are coming up, and just continue to follow me on social media. I am Lisa McClendon on IG. Get ready to drop a new single, so I don't want to tell y'all too much because I want y'all to keep checking in. Finally dropping new music. I just debuted the song last week in Ohio. They loved it, and we're excited about dropping it. The goal is to drop it by next Friday. So y'all stay tuned, stay locked in.
Come on, y'all. Did y'all hear? That's an exclusive. Y'all got something coming in a week. Nice. I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank
Lisa.
you.
Listen, I'm wishing God gift you with all the desires of your heart, double, triple what you got going on. You know what I mean? Yeah, because thank you, because it ain't easy out here in these streets of music, and
it's different.
Yeah, it is. And so, it takes you to make the whole engine go. So
thank you.
Sending love and light to you always.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you everybody for being here.
Yes. All right. See you next time. Peace, you guys. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Lisa McClendon.
Studio Q Show.